What's up, guys? It is Rick Ginn, and it is Friday evening. It's not Friday night; it's Friday evening. So, how you guys doing? It's we are doing something completely different today, which I'm like actually really excited about. For the first time, me and Zach actually have worked on this for a while. We've basically laid out a map. So, if you're a visual person like me, and maybe you're just getting started wholesaling, or like you're confused with the process, sometimes you can draw out a map and show people from start to finish everything. And that's what I'm going to do today. So it's going to take a little bit more time, but I promise you the value is going to be there. And then at the end of the stream, I'm going to show you where you can get this map. If you want to stick around, you guys know I'm going to give it to you for free, so you don't have to worry about that part. So as usual, use the comment section, introduce yourself, let us know where you're from. This is Friday night on Flip with Rick. I go on little rants, I have fun, but we are going to learn about the entire process of wholesaling, and we're going to give you the maps, the coordinates, step by step on where to find everything. And if you guys are brand new to this channel, you know what I'm going to tell you. Go over to freewholesaling.com. Actually, let me put it up in a bigger, where is it? Let's do that one. Go over to freewholesaling.com, and it will go into detail because I would need about a couple hundred hours to explain everything we do. So we have the #1 wholesaling course. Nobody beats it. We give out more courses than anyone else, and the really cool thing is free. So too many gurus, too many coaches, too many people complicate the heck out of this business. Too many people do not have the experience to teach you how to do this. And I believe, Zach believes, we should do it for free. So that's our whole mission here. My name is Rick Ginn. I have been wholesaling for 20 years plus, and I'm in one of the most saturated markets in America, in South Florida, and I am buried in deals. And I have never missed out on doing deals, and I love doing it. I run a 7-figure wholesaling operation, and in my spare time, me and Zach, we live stream to you and tell you what's going on in today's market, how you can get started in wholesaling, and more importantly, how to get your first 100 grand without spending any money on coaches or anything like that. So if you like the information you're getting, do me a favor, give me a thumbs up, give me a like, and you got to get excited about this, guys. So it's we're gonna have a lot of fun today. I got some really cool stuff I'm going to show you, but now by Friday, you got to pick it up. The whole beauty of doing wholesaling is to make a change in your life, to make things better. And I know the journey's tough because me and Zach, we give you the red pill and we just tell you how it is. And the benefit of that, it hurts a little bit up front, but the truth is what will ultimately set you free in what you're doing. Guys, let's get into it. If you're not having a good time wholesaling, if you're not stepping up, get pumped on this video. Let's see you on the other side.
Get the fuck out of bed, bitch. Go. Get up, and get the guy go. Time to wake up, bitch. Get up. Get up. Get up.
Guys, that's what I'm talking about. So that video is crazy. It's fun. It's everything we love about wholesaling. And if you do not resonate with that video, you're probably going to think I'm a little bit nuts. So I've always admitted to you guys, I have ADHD. I was told it was my problem in life. It was told I would never get a good job. And you know what? They were right. I didn't get a good job. I actually got horrible jobs, but I found a business that I could run, that I can do whatever I want, make as much money as I want, and have all the freedom in the world. And guys, no matter who you learn wholesaling from, like there's amazing people out there. I have to feel in the end, everybody's goal is to give you freedom. Okay. So if we can all collectively agree to that, the question is, how do we get there and who's going to be honest about it? And that's the biggest challenge you have in wholesaling right now is trying to find people with A, the experience, B, that will navigate you through it to get you your first few deals, and then C, someone that's not going to be in your back pocket the entire time. And honestly, there's a lot of people that because I see the complaints all day long about, I paid this girl, I paid this guy, and I had to come up to your channel. And that's what just drives me nuts in this business. So we've changed the way we do this business. I call it disruptive good. And what do I mean by disruptive good? It means I'm going to disrupt how the wholesaling coaching method works. Okay. Because wholesaling, guys, I'm talking about only wholesaling. Okay. Wholesaling is a basic skill set. And honestly, is the most important skill set you can have to get started in real estate investing. Because if you can master wholesaling, every other option, you ready for that? Here's the big secret. It's easy. Okay. So many of you guys are being sold now, hey, I have a shortcut and you don't have to fight with all those other wholesalers. It's not going to work. It doesn't work that way. It's like jumping into calculus before you learn how to do simple addition and multiplication. And that, guys, there is no shortcut. If you master wholesaling and you want to pivot to do rentals, wholesaling will give you the cheapest houses. If you want to do fix and flip, wholesaling will give you the best deals and the best opportunity with the most spread. If you want to do creative financing, you're going to find them in your wholesaling deals, or you're going to find deals that you can't wholesale that you can only do creative financing, but you got to get the confidence in wholesaling them. Guys, anybody's telling you, oh, you can do novations because you don't have to deal with wholesaling. Dude, guys, no way. I'm just telling you, man, novations is not a shortcut. Okay. It is an advanced experience practice that should happen naturally, and it shouldn't be taught to newbies. And for that reason, you have coaches out there that think it's the greatest thing on earth because I don't have to go through wholesaling. I don't have to make thousands of cold call. Guys, I'm telling you, man, if you haven't learned anything on this planet, if you've ever seen a great athlete, an NBA player, a football player, an incredible musician like this man behind me, they all put in the work. Nobody just showed up and was a superstar. And if you guys can't get that through you, all these hooks, all these great marketing pieces that are being like spun on you is all about skipping the work. And I'm telling you, you are going to pay that fee and you are going to have to do 3 times as much work. It's just how it works out. So that's my rant on that. I got to move on it with it. So I'm looking at the comments on it. I appreciate all your guys' comments. I'm going to do me, and I'm not changing for anyone. I don't care what the others say. Honestly, if a guru endorsed me, I would be actually like slightly concerned, but most gurus are good people. They just have an old business model of teaching wholesaling. And, I agree 100% with Corey. Wholesaling is the foundation. So if you think about anything like you learned in school, like wholesaling is the foundation, it will open up. I'm here to tell you, not only in real estate, it will open up so many opportunities for you to look at businesses because you know how they run. You know how to turn nothing into phenomenal amounts of money, and that's why it is. So somebody asked here, I'm just going to get this out of the way. What is innovation? It's a strategy that's been around forever. All innovation means is you substitute one contract for another, okay? And sometimes that happens in wholesaling because you have to help out a homeowner. But someone's come up with a creative idea that they're going to sell a course on this, and they're teaching you how to do a power of attorney and take fiduciary responsibility, which puts you in a real pickle as a real estate investor because you have to look out for the fiduciary responsibility of the homeowner, not you. And almost everyone who does innovation breaks that. Number 2, you have to record it on a public record. And honestly, they call it a power of attorney for a reason. You should involve an attorney. Okay. Number 3 is you have to require record a lien. And by the way, liens on novations are now being attacked. Any lien under 12 months is being thoroughly investigated, and they're probably going to push it up to 18 to 24 months. So most likely they are going to, honestly, by doing novations, they're selling it to you as a shortcut. You don't have to put any money. You can pay above the sticker price on a property and you'll still make $50,000. And guys, if you want to buy into that dream, go for it. I've ran it over thoroughly with multiple lawyers. If you ever get challenged by the homeowner, which is the one that's going to attack you, you're going to have problems because you are transacting on real estate without a license. You have no equitable interest. You're writing bogus liens that aren't representative of like the skill set that you're bringing, meaning any type of mechanics lien or any lien like that, you have to have work orders. You should be the contractor. We're not the contractors, any of that stuff. I know you can go hire one. Guys, there is no way around it. Okay. And by the way, there's no such thing as a single novation contract. It is multiple contracts. It's 3 to 4 agreements, and it's an advanced strategy. And honestly, if you want to pair up with a distressed homeowner that's unrealistic with their price to try to make 50 grand off of them, knock it out. I would never even entertain it. It's a nightmare. Can you make a ton of money doing it? Yeah. But eventually you are going to get caught with someone that's upset. So, Mr. Seller, I'm going to buy your house for $250,000. And then I'm going to pair up with somebody else. And here's what I'm going to do is I'm going to sell it for $300,000. And we're going to take my contract out of the way and put this contract in. And then we're going to record a bogus lien for like $50,000. By the way, you have to sign all your rights away on the house. I'm not only going to do that, I'm going to list your house. And then at the end of the closing, you have to show them that the house is selling for $300,000, not $250,000. And they're going to start asking questions every time. So that's why I don't like novations, because it's a cheap shortcut. And honestly, if you think wholesaling is being scrutinized, if all the gurus keep teaching novations, it's going to be real problematic for wholesalers, because novations is a real risk. Because guys, you're putting in no money. Think if you can make 50 grand and make like no money on almost every deal, shoot, we'd all do it. The problem is you got to enter into a power of attorney, and a power of attorney is, in my opinion, I'm not a lawyer, but I'm telling you, I talk a lot of, it's a conflict of interest between you and the homeowner. You don't own the property. So how do you do it for, now I've done a novation naturally where we couldn't make the contract work. The seller says, listen, Rick, I have to sell it. I go, I have another buyer. I make a few bucks off of it. If not, I'll just let them take my place. Worst case scenario. That's how a novation is supposed to work. But people out there teaching how to make 6 figures on novations. Do 10, 20, 30 novations. Let me know who's going to sue you at the end. Because when your power of attorney gets ripped apart. So I've been to 3 title companies. They will not even recognize, like most power of attorneys, unless they're seasoned for 1 year or longer, they will not recognize them anymore. Okay. Liens, they're all being investigated for anything that's over $5 grand and was just recently recorded in less than 12 months. They're all being investigated now. So for that reason, let's get off the novations. I just don't like shortcuts. Okay. Every time you guys hear of a cheap shortcut, you're the ones that are suffering, because you got this shiny object syndrome and you just shy away. And if you just put the work in wholesaling, you can open up so many doors. You're going to meet contractors. You're going to meet amazing people, and you are going to learn how real estate works. So I can guide you on that journey. So let's get into it. I'm going to go through a mind map. Listen, before we get started, I want to run through some basic information here. NAR came out with a release, I believe it was yesterday or today, and I'm going to share it with you. It's hot off the press here. So home sales for the year are down 24%. That's the number of homes being sold. I know it's not a shock. They've been down 8 consecutive months, guys. Like that, we're on a roll here. Okay. And home sales are at the lowest level since 2012. Why am I telling you this? This data is now getting out, and NAR is starting to freak out. And that means all this information is going to disseminate to homeowners, to sellers. And the realtors are getting the message because NAR is panicking a little bit. And so what happened, why NAR is panicking is because realtors don't renew their memberships when the market's down, and they lose a lot of revenue on it. So right now, mortgages are at 7.4% approximately as we speak. So they're up 4.18. And from a statistical thing, it's almost doubled. Okay. And the crazy thing is, guys, we are 100% going to 8%. If you think 7% is hard on the market, wait till you see what 8% does. Now, here's the good news is all the data and everything says that if you're at the median price the median price in your market or below, you're in good shape. Okay. All these numbers are based on most of the houses that are suffering are significantly above the average median price. So the average median price in the United States as of 6/22 this year was 414,000. Okay. As of September, we're down to 384,000. It's dropping fast. Okay. In the last 3 months, the average home price has dropped 7%. So you need to start extrapolating some of this data to figure where we're going, because if this spiral continues at this rate, guys, we got serious issues. But to you and me, it means incredible opportunity. Okay. You guys are going to have to work on your cash buyers. Here's the good news. The cash buyers are still holding strong at about 23% of the market. Okay. I'm not like, I look at data, guys, and you guys should do, this is across the entire country. Okay. And then, so here we are, we're decreasing at about 1.8%. The reality, about 2% a month, guys, we're heading to 3. Okay. So if we look 3 to 6 months down the road, you can extrapolate. You have to anticipate future numbers, not so much for you, but for your cash buyers. Okay. They're eventually going to get these numbers. I think by December, with 8% mortgages, we're going to be dropping at least 2% a month. Okay. So I think we have another 12 to 20% price drop to go in this market. That doesn't mean you sit on the sideline at all. It's actually the actual opposite. When you have to educate your sellers of what's going on, the longer they wait, the less they're going to get. So you can create your own urgency with this data. And I want you to understand it, guys. Prices are down 7% in the last 3 months. We haven't seen numbers like that and crazy. And home sales are at their lowest average since 2012. Here's the predicament. In 2012, that was the rock bottom of the market. Okay. When we went through that terrible mortgage crisis, here's the problem. The prices were so low, so many investors dove in, and then we wound up to the point where we are now. So the problem is now we're at 384K. To me, I think prices, this is my prediction. Okay. I don't know if I'm right, but I think we're going to have to get back to below 360 as a US medium home price to get back to a more active market. How are we going to do that? Well, mortgage rates are going to have to drop. And until they drop, we're never going to get down. So I think the 384 is going to drop at least another 25K. So that's it. So I guys want you to pay attention to this data. So this data is posted on with NAR. It's NAR, not NRA. Okay. And that stands for the National Association of Realtors. Now, if you guys want to go a step further, go to your local realtors. You'll have a local realtors board. You can Google it. So if you're like Atlanta, do the Atlanta Association of Realtors, and you can get these stats. They're public. They have to share them with the public. So look at the national trend of NAR and look at your local trends, and then you have to extract. Some markets are better or worse than others, but for the most part, all sectors of the United States are down, my friend. And this is like, I'm not going to call it good news, but it's great opportunity because the urgency. Think about a seller. If they're thinking about selling it to you and they go, I want to wait a few months, go, okay, well, you're going to have to adjust the price by 5% the next time you see them. And you're going to have to let them know that. So keep in mind, your cash buyers are seeing this data too. So you have to adjust accordingly. So I think it's good news. I think it's crazy, but we are starting to see some spiraling numbers that are, to be honest, I've been doing this 20 years. It's scary, man. 2% a month. I haven't seen that since back in like 09, 010. And that was horrendous. So take that data. I want you to extrapolate, and guys, share the information. I would love to share it. So let's jump into doing the mind map of how wholesaling works. Let me figure out how to share my screens. So guys, if you want to jump on a one-on-one, hop on there. I'm going to have a little bit less time. I apologize, but I will make it up to you on Monday. So let me take that off there. So let's get into it. I don't have a link for the article, but you guys can look it up. It is all public data. So NAR represents the entire country of realtors. And then you want to look like we have like a South Florida. We have 3 or 4, I don't know what you call them, border realtors around here, because I'm part of, my wife's part of all of them. And I look at all the data, each county. It's actually really nice. At some point, I'm going to go through and show you all the slides and everything and show you how you can do it for your local area, but it's kind of boring. And here's the problem, guys, that this data, it's from September. We're almost all the way through October. So it's 2 months behind. 2 months. So how bad do you think the numbers is? It's just like the inflation number. Well, it's only 8.3. How bad do you really think it is? So, okay, let me share my screen and let's get going. Huh? Okay. Okay, let me take off. Let's do this. Let me take off this for now. Okay, so I'll put a ticker on here. So guys, to go into grave detail, this mind map is everything we do in freewholesaling.com. So if you've ever been frustrated with a guru or coach or someone got you excited about wholesaling, which I think is awesome, but they don't want to tell you what's behind the closed doors before you pay them, I'm going to show you what we offer 100% for free from people with over 27 years experience total between me and my son. And so I'm going to give you a quick overview. It's not quick, but as instead of spending 10 hours on my course, I'm going to take 45 minutes and show you everything we offer in freewholesaling.com. So I think it's going to be valuable. So for those of you who don't want to go through the entire course, you want me to spoon feed it to you and go, Rick, I need to see what's in there before I buy. And by the way, the only cost to enter into this is your email. That's it. So let's get into it and we'll go from there. So I put basically 5 steps on here. So obviously we're going to teach about finding motivated sellers, which to me is crucial. Okay. This is the fight that most of you are in, and we're going to spend the most time on this part. Then we're going to go into qualifying sellers and following up. We're going to go deep into that as well. Okay. Then we're going to talk about locking up the contract, and I'll show you how you can get it in freewholesaling.com. And then we're talking about selling your deals to dispoing and the cash buyers and closing the deal. Most of you guys are all stuck up here. Okay. This is where you guys think if you pay someone, you're going to get this information. True story today. I saw a post. I'm not going to call anyone out, but said, hey, we're going to give you all what you asked for. You want to find deals without any marketing cost, but I can't do it for free. You've got to be kidding me. They just told you they have no money to find deals. And now you want to charge them a coaching program for it. And by the way, they won't tell you what the coaching program is till you go through a discovery call. And get this. This is the kicker. Okay. Remember, find deals for free. So even if you pay someone $1,000, $2,000, I guess if they provide the right value, it might be worth it for the right client. But when you get in there, they ask you, what's your marketing budget? 500, 1,000, 1,500, or 5,000 or more. You just told everyone you're going to teach them how to get deals with no money. So why do you need to know what their marketing budget is? Guys, I don't make this stuff up. It's on the internet every day. If you guys want to sign up for this stuff, knock yourself out, but it's not going to get you anywhere. Okay. And then they end it with, you get what you pay for. So if anybody wants to try to discredit that, I've had over 5,000 people in my group discredit the you get what you pay for. It doesn't really work with that. It's the people that you pay attention to and how you invest your time is just as important. So the problem in wholesaling, as you guys know, that 70 to 80% of the people out there coaching don't really give a hoot if you do a deal or not. That's why you have to pay them in advance. So me and Zach do it opposite. That's why we're busting this whole industry. Disruptive good. So let's get into finding motivated sellers. Guys, put your questions in there and I will answer as many as I can. So let me zoom in on this thing. Okay. Hopefully you guys can see all that. So finding motivated sellers. To me, this is the biggest challenge. And honestly, it's where you have to start. Okay. And if you start down here trying to sell the cash buyer, unless you have motivated sellers, it's kind of a waste. So let's dive into it. Okay. Well, hold on. I have got to share my screen. Oh. It's okay. It bounced me out. Okay, hold on, guys. You know it's live because I'm having technical difficulties. So let's do this. Present. Share screen. Windows. Okay. Okay. So guys, give me a okay. So you guys can see it. Someone give me just a thumbs up. I am not the technical guy, so thank God I wholesale. So okay, I just want to make sure it is working. And okay, cool. Okay. So let me get back into here. So I am going to try to zoom this in so we don't get too distracted. So I apologize if that gave someone a seizure there, but that's it. So number one, the first thing you have to figure out when you get started in wholesaling is you have to master list pulling. Okay. The really cool thing at freewholesaling.com, this is what we specialize in. And this is the big veil that no coach or anyone tells you about. They're very, very vague about this until you pay to get in their program. So I'm going to break down the list pulling for you right off the bat. I'm going to tell you what type of lists you need to be pulling, and I'm going to tell you where to get them. So this is going to go a little bit quick. Okay. So right off the bat, let me move this over here. You have two types of lists. Okay. You have free lists and you have paid lists. Okay. So a lot of you guys ask, hey, listen, Rick, I really don't have a lot of money to get this done. I'm fine with that. Just understand you're going to have to work your butt off. You're going to have to hustle and grind, and there's no replacement other than you because you don't have the money to hire other people. Okay. So let's go through. So I'm going to go through each list and where to get them. And if you guys stay till the end, I promise you, I will give you the link to get this map 100% for free. Okay. I won't be charging you anything. So code violations, my favorite list by far. And by the way, these aren't in order. They're just lists that I have used for over the last 20 years. Okay. By the way, these lists are free. Okay. This is why most gurus do not go into detail on these lists because they don't feel like you need them to get it. These lists are important. And it's where you'll make a majority of your money. Okay. So code enforcement will derive the code violations. A lot of times it's going to be in your building department. Okay. Water shutoffs. This is when they shut off the water, guys. Keep in mind, when people shut off the water on these properties, it's a good sign that either it's gone vacant or they have a huge financial problem. Either way, they are some of the best leads. Now, here's the key to water shutoffs. You got to get them from the utility department, and it's got to be a public company. Now, I can stress this to you. You will not get 100% compliancy of them giving you this list. Honestly, it's more like 60%. Some of them don't want to share it, and if it's not a public company, they don't have to share it with you. So just understand that going into it. And if you can get that list, it is incredible. And keep in mind, if there's not water running on the house, that means nobody can really live in there. So it's either going to be vacant or there's some serious, serious problems. Okay. Fire damaged properties, same things. It's why we have a fire department. Properties catch on fire, particularly kitchen fires, stuff like that. Electrical. Where do I get this list? Sometimes I don't even know why I have to tell you this, guys, but it's the fire department. It is truly the fire department. And keep in mind, that should be a public list because who pays for the fire department? Me and you. Okay. There's got to be a record for that when they have a call to go in the fire department, because if you look detailed on your property taxes, and when you pay it, there's an entire section for fire rescue on there. So if I'm paying that bill, I want access to this. You got to be nice with people like this. Firefighters are some of those wonderful people. Some of my greatest friends are firefighters. And if you don't know how to do it, ask them and see if they can help you out with it. And keep in mind, there are multiple fire departments, usually between the cities and counties, depending on the size of it. Okay. Probates, guys, you know, I love probates. If you're not doing probates, you're missing some huge, huge profit deals. You have to go to your county courthouse and you're looking at the clerk of the court, specifically the probate court. They might call it a probate records. It's a little bit different in each one of them. Now, you have to really be kind with these people. Sometimes you can get it online or you have to physically go and pull it. These are all wonderful. Pre-foreclosures, the same thing. You're going to go over to the clerk of court, which is your county courthouse, and this is going to be in the public records. I would venture to say 70% of these records are now online. You might have to pay a small fee to get public access to the records as a business. It's just a revenue stream for the county. and they figure they got to give it away anyway, so they might as well make it accessible. If you have to go to the courthouse to get it, it's actually an advantage to you because everybody else has to go through that fight, and most people are lazy and they won't go through that much work. Okay. Liens. If you really want to pull, you can go to your clerk of court and you can pull liens and you can do a public search. You're going to have to filter out the liens and find out the particulars you want to do. You can do HOA liens. You can do anything. Guys, I'm talking about free lists. Okay. Divorce list. Same thing. The clerk of court, public records. I'm not a big fan of this one because it's just tough, but we do get deals with them, but just make sure you have tough skin because you're picking a fight when you get into those. But a lot of them got to sell the property. The key with divorce is you got to find distressed property, not just the stress of the divorce is like a given. But if the property's not distressed, usually divorce leads don't work out, but you can sort through them. Evictions, probably one of my favorites, especially right now. Rents should be stabilizing, if not going backwards. And there's just going to be a lot of evictions, guys. There's people that have been paying on the rents. The really cool thing is it's very public. It's on a list. And a lot of the evictions are filed directly by the landlord, and they put their phone number right on it. And that saves you a skip trace. And for that reason, I love it. The best time to find a great deal from a tired landlord is right before they're evicting it or the day they're filing it at the court. So speed really wins on this one. Okay. Arrest records. I've been on this in detail. All this is online. You do not go into your local sheriff's police station. You should be able to get that online, and you can see a record of everybody arrested for that day. Rick, why am I looking at arrest records? Because when people get arrested and they go away with jail, they have to do something with the house. I buy houses like this all the time, every year. You think it wouldn't be, but more people than you think get arrested in your local town, and they need help. Okay. Your IRS debt lien list, you can search public records through the clerk of court. Credit cards, when they put a judgment against people, once again, that is a submaster of your lien list. And last but not least, my least favorite, because wholesalers should not be on the MLS when they're first starting out. You can find properties on market, even kind of off market, and that list is technically free. So that's everything on the free list. Let's bounce down and talk about our paid list. Okay. Now, when we talk about a paid list, okay, we're talking about services we use. So just to make this a little bit general, so I don't go too long-winded here, these are going to be paid lists you usually get through a software company. Now, if you guys, I'm looking here. So if you guys use listrei.com, use Zach Data, it doesn't matter which ones you use. We like to use the ones that we use. That's why we recommend them. But if I was going to do these, I would pull these up on rei.com or zachdata.com. That's where I get it. Now, I use a combo of both. You only need one, guys. Don't use them both. And people go, well, Rick, I have to pay for a subscription. Number one, you never have to pay for anything. It's a choice, okay? You can do things manually till you figure it out. And then when you make some monies from your deals, you can pay for services. Now, keep in mind, a $99 subscription is a lot cheaper than a $3,000 employee, and plus you don't have to manage them. So if that's a tool you have to put in your tool belt, then go for it and get it. So I'm going to go through these, and there's no necessary order of the paid list that you can pull them. Now, most of these services, you get around 10,000 leads a month. So it basically comes to like a penny a lead. Guys, when I did this through CoreLogic, it was 20 to 25 cents a lead. That's how much I paid for them. But vacant properties, these are properties that have just gone vacant. They get this data from the USPS, the United States Postal Service, when people put that little green vacant thing in the box, okay? Tired landlords. Guys, there's an entire list of people who own tons and tons of properties. And what happens once they own them after a certain amount of time, they get tired. You just get tired of it. Tenants are rough on them. They beat up the property. And usually at the end, when they beat up the property after the landlord's fixed it up 15 times, they're not going to fix it up again. They'd rather just sell it the way it is, or they're going to fix it up completely and put it on MLS. They've already extracted their cash flow out of it. They just want to be out of it. So I like the tired landlords list. The zombie property list. Guys, these are basically pre-foreclosures that the people have just left and they're vacant. And that's why they're called zombie. They're a little bit more work, but it's very easy to get these lists on these paid services. And it's just a numbers game and you got to go through them. Next one, high equity. I've done high equity since 2003 and I still do it in 2022. Okay. What's a high equity list? It's simply a list with someone that has a high cash value in it. So simple example, if somebody owned, just say a $200,000 property and they only had $100,000 left on their mortgage, they would have 50% equity in the property. Most of our criteria, we start at 40 to 50% of equity. Why? Because number one, they've owned it for a decent amount of time, usually 5 years plus. And number two, you have a lot of room to negotiate. If you want to get a 20, 30, 40% discount, the equity has to be there to be able to get it. So if that person had a $200,000 mortgage, you can't buy that house for $150,000 because it wouldn't pay off the debt on it. So high equity will always work. Okay. You get pre-probates. Okay. There's a really, really cool technique in listrei.com where they do pre-probates. And basically they figured out how to extract death certificates for your given county and then cross-correlate them to any property deeds that they owned in that county. And then they're saying this is suspect. It could be pre-probate. And guys, a lot of times it takes years for properties to pop up on a formal probate list. That's why I really like the pre-probate strategy. The cool thing is you don't have to pull it every month. My recommendation is pull it maybe once a quarter, at worst twice a year. Just pull them. I always get deals off of them. And if you don't want to do the whole courtroom, I don't have time to do that. These are perfect, but you have to go through a paid service to do it, guys. $100 is a heck of a lot cheaper than $3,000. Okay, I'm just telling you. Vacant land, I've gone into grave detail. I do entire videos on this. I've done a multi-series videos on this. Check it out on Flip with Rick or the Rick Ginn channel. And then failed listings. Guys, this is easy. Like, yes, you can get failed listings. And I know there's one other one I think I left out of here. Which one was it? Tired landlords. I'll figure it out. I'll put it back in there. But these guys, you get the issues this. You have paid and you have free. See how long the free ones? Do you see how much I push on this? When you guys hire gurus, they tell you to basically, just try some free lists to move on. The truth of the matter is these free lists are absolutely huge when you start out in wholesaling, okay? They are critical when you do it. And it's so important that you do them, okay? Anyone who glasses over there is going, well, we only do the paid services. So what drives me crazy is most of these coaching programs tell you, unless you're going to spend $3,000 to $5,000 a month, you're probably not going to succeed. I'm here to tell you guys, it's the opposite. I find that people spend a lot of money in the beginning. They have no idea what they're doing and they struggle and they burn through the money. And by the time they pay the coaching program and 3 months of marketing, they don't have anything to work with. That's when they come over to me and Zach and go, okay, how do I really get a deal? And you know what? I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm going to tell you it's going to take a lot of hard work and dedication. You're going to have to make a lot of calls, knock on a lot of doors and get it done. But anyone who sticks it out with me for the 3 to 6 months, they come out such a better person, particularly a wholesaler, because if you've ever gone through a grind, if you guys have ever gone through a workout program or gone on that special diet, which I hate diets. I think you should just change your lifestyle if you have to do a diet. The reward's tremendous on the backside because you find a part of your body I didn't know I could do this. And once you find out you can do it, the sky's unlimited in what you can do it. Let me keep moving here because I'm giving you everything we do in freewholesaling.com, trying to wrap it up in 45 minutes. It's crazy. Okay. So the next technique, cold calling. So now we've done our lists. Okay. So we pull our list. We did the free ones. We did the paid ones. So now we're talking about marketing mediums to reach out. Once we have these lists, now we got to pick the vehicle to reach out to them. My favorite, and for most people starting out, cold calling is the best. I get it. A lot of you have a fear of cold calling. And honestly, I'm not going to sit here and be a hypocrite. I'm not a cold caller. My son's a master cold caller, and I convinced him to do it in our company when we got started. And because I started him in day one, he doesn't know any difference. That's why he's so dynamic at cold calling. He will cold call all day long. He doesn't care. Okay. And that's why we do our Tuesday segment. We're the only ones that do live cold calls. We don't call real estate agents because that's not where the deal is for a beginner wholesaler. The reason why most gurus call a real estate agent because it's an easy softball call. It's just easy. I call real estate agents all day. Like, and keep in mind, most of you aren't licensed real estate agents, so you're not going to get the same courtesy as a lot of these people that are licensed that are calling. Okay. Number two, we do the calls live and raw, and we let you guys pick the area and we let you pick the sellers. That way you get authenticity on how these calls go. And some of them are brutal, man, but that's the reality of the business. So if Zach can do it and that's what he did, I wasn't brought up in a cold calling environment. I have no problem doing cold calling, but I don't have to do it anymore. So Zach runs our entire cold calling staff of people. That's all they do is call all day long. So when you do that, if you go to freewholesaling.com, we have the entire script, which we're going to teach you how to do a conversation and show you how to do the skip tracing. The next one, text blasting, is exactly what it says. The SMS is in front of it. I know it's a fancy word. And we basically do the double whammy script. What do I mean by that? If you guys use a standard "we buy houses" and send it out to, say, 5,000 people, only about 10 to 20% of your text are going to be delivered because you're going to be flagged as spam. Okay. We teach you how to ask dynamic questions so your text receiver responds back to you. Once they respond back to you, you are now out of the spam zone. So once there's an interaction, then you can move forward. And the whole goal was we teach you how to convert text to phone call. Guys, I know we're in a heavy texting society. You cannot close people on text. It does not, the effectiveness is horrible. So we teach you the double whammy script, and we teach you how to convert them from text to phone. And if you're in local, we'll teach it from text to phone to in person. Okay. Moving on to direct mail. You guys know I'm deep in this stuff. I love doing it. I never recommend it for a beginner. And this is my argument with coaches all the time, is I rather you go out and use a free source or a software paid source for like $100 and figure out how to work with a motivated seller before you start sending out thousands of pieces of mail, because you have not talked to enough people to understand how the process works yet. So you can outspend yourself if you hire a coach. They say, hey, send out 5,000, 10,000 mail pieces. Who's going to answer the phone? Are you going to answer it live? There's so many things. I will tell you this in direct mail. You guys got to answer your phone live. If somebody tells you not to answer your phone live, you're already done. You're throwing your money out the window. Guys, I have 20 plus years of research in direct mail. Anybody that tells you to let it go to a voicemail, they're just not very good wholesalers. Why? Because I don't do huge pieces of mail. Good sized compared to most of you, but I don't spend 20, 30 grand on this stuff. If I spend $5,000 on direct mail, I get a 4 to 5 times return, guaranteed, year after year. Now that number's gone down. It used to be 8. Now it's down to 5, really 4.5 to be honest with you. So it works. Okay. What do? We use the system and we teach it all in freewholesaling.com. We use what we call the ROS postcards. It's a rapid offer system postcards. It's basically a system I created with a mail house. I tested this stuff out for 2.5 years before I even recommended it for you guys to use it. Now we use it in our company. I have a lot of people that mimic what I do. I don't own the mail company. I don't do anything, but we give you the source that we use it with, and we pass the savings along to you guys. If you want to get in direct mail, check out mailingmastery.com. It's all there. We use regular postcards, and then we do probate mailers, which I give you the template in freewholesaling.com. And you have to mail a letter. Do not mail postcards to probates. They don't work. Ask me how I know this. Okay. That's everything on direct mail there. Guys, we're getting there. I told you it's a lot of information, man. It's absolutely insane. So let me see here. And then we talk about reverse driving for dollars. And if you know what reverse driving for dollars is, you basically take your list, like your government list, maybe they're code violations, maybe they're pre-foreclosures, and you stick a note on the door that says, I got a quick question about your house. This is Rick. You put your virtual phone number on there. You don't put your personal phone number on there because it can get you in trouble. Okay. And virtual phone numbers, guys, they're cheap. They're like $5, $6 a month, maybe 10. Okay. There's a million companies out there. Just Google it, take a look at it, or do one for free. Use Google Voice. I've had my same Google Voice for 12 years. It's amazing. Okay. Just get off the Google announcement on there. And guys, this works. because when they come out of the house, you just deal with the ones that want to call you, and the ones that want nothing to do with you, they don't call you back. But it does have a high callback ratio because it looks like a personal note. Okay, guys, let's talk about pay-per-click and Facebook ads. Don't do them. You're wasting your time. I'm sorry. I have really good friends that teach this stuff, but the reality is a newbie wholesaler, you do not want to play in this pond until you are completely established, because you need to dedicate one person just to do this stuff. And my problem, like PPC, is more of an advanced strategy with an operation, meaning multiple employees, because they're expensive. Okay. 30 to 40K a month. That's not for your average person. So unless you have experience in PPC, do not start it when you start out wholesaling, because it's going to overwhelm you. Okay. I wouldn't touch it. Facebook ads, they just take way too long to nurture. Okay. Everybody brags about how cheap a Facebook lead is. Who cares what the cost of the lead is? How many deals did you get from your Facebook? All I do is people call me, oh, look at all these leads I got from my Facebook. How many contracts do you have? 0. Okay. If they might as well be free, because Facebook's really good at pulling $600, $800, $1,000 out of you. And then you're going to have some person, a guy or gal, says, listen, for $1,000 a month, I'll do it for you. Let me just save you the energy. People on Facebook are not looking to sell their homes. It's an afterthought. They are 12 to 18 months nurturing, because I own a real estate agency and we do it on that. And that's the average time it takes people to get to list a house off of Facebook. How long do you think it's going to take them to sell their house for a quick discount? It takes a long time. This is my opinion, guys. You can do what you want, but in the beginning, do not concentrate on this area, because this would take you out so quick, because these are much bigger budgets. And honestly, unless you have real specifics and you know how to work them, you are going to have to rely on someone else. They call a consultant, and you have to pay. Not only do you have to pay the advertising tab, but you have to pay their consulting gig on it. Okay. The next one, JV deals and networking. I already told you, we need to change this industry and get it back how we used to do it. When I started back in 2003, more than a quarter of my deals was working with other wholesalers. And then here I am in 2022, and nobody wants to play ball anymore. And it's absolutely crazy. So we give an opportunity for people to JV with us, but it's got to be a good deal, guys. It's got to be a good deal. Bandit signs. I like bandit signs. Just make sure they're legal in your area and don't get people in trouble. I don't want anybody to get hit by a car, but bandit signs work. If you go, signs are expensive. I know they are. So go buy the blank signs, cut them in half, buy that giant black marker, and just write on it on one side. Guys, bandit signs are not that expensive and they work. You want to put them in areas where people drive by slow so they can take a picture of your bandit sign. They used to write them down and call. Now they take a picture. They can't do it at 45 miles an hour. Okay. Zillow Fizbos, guys, one of the easiest ways to get deals. Number one, these people are wanting to sell, obviously, because they got on a Fizbo site. Number two, their phone number and their name's already on there. So this winds up just being a numbers game. If I told you the thousands of deals I've watched people get going through freewholesaling.com just on Zillow alone, guys, it's one of the free ways to do deals. Okay. So let's walk about qualifying the seller, and then we'll rip through the other stuff really fast, and I'll get to all your questions. Okay. I'm moving it up here. It gets hot when I go through this stuff. So, okay. So now we're going to qualify sellers. So someone's either reached out to you or you've reached out to them. So one's inbound and one's outbound. Okay. A majority of what you guys are doing is going to be what we call outbound marketing, meaning you reaching them out to them because you're on a limited budget to get it. So we teach you the MCTP. If you don't know what that is, those are the 4 qualifying questions. And we broke it down to a simple acronym, so you guys don't have to memorize this complicated script and sounds so fake with people. Okay. Remember, the new currency in wholesaling are 2 things: authenticity. What am I saying? Authenticity and being empathetic to people. Okay. We got to stop trying to run over, manhandle people and fight it with the price. If you can be authentic and you can be empathetic with people and still go through our process of wholesaling, you will do very well. Okay. But you still have to go through the system. Okay. The next step is you got to figure out what the MAO is, and that's the maximal allowable offer. Okay. So many of you guys are stuck in the old world. Take ARV times 70% minus off your fee. Guys, that barely worked in 2003 or 4. Okay. So today it's much, much different. You have to focus more on the ARV than your percentage off on it. Okay. Because if you don't have the right ARV, you're never going to know what the real target price for it, and you're never going to figure out your maximum allowable offer. Okay. So we teach you how to find the right ARV, and there's plenty of tools out there to do it. And we teach you what to do if you can't find the right ARV and how to put that offer together. Okay. Then we're going to teach you how to follow up with the appointments so that you can be well below your MAO. Okay. I'm going to teach you how to go for no. Okay. You're like, what are you talking about? So many of you guys have been taught by these gurus, just throw out a price and see if they take it and tell them you'll pay cash and close quickly. Guys, I stopped doing that in 2004. You guys, like, it's very transparent what you're doing. Okay. So what you need to do is basically build rapport to where you can kind of go in, and then you're basically going to give a low offer. We call it going for no. You make a low offer. I don't ever even expect them to accept it. The worst feeling in wholesaling is when you make an offer and they instantly accept it. It means you paid too much. Okay. So I rather you get that difficult conversation done up front right here than the very, very painful conversation your seller says, hey, you paid too much. And then you come on a live with me and go, Rick, I've gone through 10 or 12 sellers and I can't sell this property. I'm going to tell every one of you, you most likely you paid too much for it. Okay. So to prevent that, get the thing as low as you can. By going for a super low number is you're looking for a counter. Okay. So say if a property is worth 200 grand and you offer $120, if you're scared to offer that number, it's the right number. That's how it works. The more nervous you are, the more right you are. And that's what you have to understand. That's what we teach at freewholesaling.com. You're not going to get this in any other course. Okay. You have to get it out there because you're not looking for them to accept that offer. If they do, you'd probably be really ecstatic, right? But you're looking for their counter to that offer. Okay. You're looking for their reaction. You're looking for data so you can get closer to a number that works for both parties. Okay. So that you might throw out 120. They go, listen, I can't do anything less than 142. Now you can start haggling down to the final numbers and get to it. But the problem is a lot of you guys start at 150 and you wind up at 170. And before you know it, you can't sell the deal. And then you're on a live going, man, I don't know how to do this. And I'm telling you guys, that is probably one of the biggest problems that's going on. And remember, you're in a market where prices are dropping 2% a month right now. Okay. So in 6 months, houses potentially going to be worth 15 to 20% less. Okay. The beautiful thing about wholesaling, you don't have to worry about that. You just got to get the right price up front. Okay. Because your plan is to get rid of that property in less than 30 days. So at the most, you're at risk for what? 2%. 2%. Flippers, they're in big trouble right now. Like anybody flipping a property right now, way above the median price, God help you. You better throw in closing costs. You might want to throw in a BMW in it. It's going to get interesting, guys. Okay. So this is the biggest struggle, finding the ARV and going for the no. And that's where we teach the core principles of wholesaling and what we're doing. And I want you to understand that. Okay. So many people skip this process. And the problem is when you guys are out there buying all these courses, you have to pay someone. And somebody told me the other day, multiple people told me they had to sign an NDA just to buy the course. Guys, if you're signing an NDA to buy a course, you're definitely in the wrong course. Do not sign your legal rights away when you buy a course. If anything, they should be helping explaining it to you. Okay. You should have any time to get out of a course if you're not comfortable. Nobody should force you to buy something. Okay. If we're not going to force our sellers to sell us a house, why would you let a guru force you to buying a course? Okay. Ask for the course up front. Can I take a quick peek at your online program? Can I look at some of your recorded Zoom calls? Ask quality questions. You'll find a lot of times if someone's got a legitimate program that's going to help you out, they'll answer all your questions. The ones that are illegitimate, they're going to run under a rock and hide. Okay. Because they don't do this business. Okay. And please, who's ever telling, if you're going to buy a wholesaling course outside of anything you do with me and Zach, make sure they're wholesaling today. Make sure they have a deal right now. Just give me one HUD and tell them I don't want a student's HUD. Okay, let's move on. Then we're basically talking about locking up the contract. So Either you're going to go on a physical appointment or a virtual appointment. And at this point, you know, me and Zach go deep and teach you how to build rapport and understand motivation, because so many guys, like, you'll find motivation and you're like, okay, what do I do with it now? Like, that's a lot to weigh on me. And the key is, everybody wants to get the motivation, but you got to find how to intertwine the motivation, the pain of the seller, and build rapport on it. Okay. If you've ever had someone tell you about how her husband just died and you're like, oh, that's really cool, it means you're automated and you're scripted and you don't have a heart, or your heart hasn't been trained to connect. You should be extremely empathetic. Like, oh my God. And if you can't shed a tear naturally, like, to me, it's just like natural. Like, I'd be crying like a baby, man. Like, you ever dealt with like death? It sucks. Okay. So you got to feel for these people and help them. And so when they tell you something and it doesn't register on your face and you do that cheesy car salesman thing, they read right through you. Understand this, that wholesaling has nothing really to do. There is a process, but when people say it's about sales and stuff, no, it's not, because I'm not a sales guy. I just know how to help people out, find out if they have pain, see if I can make their pain easier by buying a problematic house and doing exactly what I'm going to tell them to do. And if you can do that, you can do this. Some of the best people I've taught, some of the best people I know in wholesaling, they're not like, it's not about being a slick, like, car salesman. It has nothing to do with that. Okay. And honestly, you're selling yourself. And that's what me and Zach focus on: selling yourself, your confidence, and your skills, and the ability to help people out. If you go into a wholesaling deal and you can't say, Mr. Seller, no matter what, even if I don't buy your house, I'm going to help you out. If you can't say that, don't do this business. Because if you're just solely in for the money, you're going to get killed. I want you out now if that's what you're doing. That's what a lot of coaches are driving. You're in it for the money. Don't get me wrong. We all need money. Okay. But if you will help out as many people as possible, the money will come with it. You just have to follow a system. Okay. Once you understand how to build that rapport off the motivation, we're going to teach you how to get offers between 10 and 40% below the maximum allowable offer. In the last 4 years, everybody wants to offer the top dollar right off the number. And that in itself is a problem. That's why most of you are paying way too much for the deals. Okay. Then we just teach you simple negotiation strategies. Like, I go in this in grave detail. I teach you the volley method. Okay. It's powerful. I've done a lot of exercise with you guys. It works like a charm. Did you know if you can overcome the average person's objection twice, they fold? Test it out. I'm telling you, it doesn't even matter. The only ones it doesn't work on are kids. Okay. Kids are invincible. They'll overcome it 100 times. That's why they're kids. Why do you think kids turn into adults? Because they conform to what society tells them. And eventually they're like, okay, if you ask me twice, eventually I'm just going to give you the answer. Kids never give up. And that's why we can all learn from being kids. I feel like I'm like an overgrown kid. So then basically we teach you how to send the contract to the title company. I specifically give you the verbiage, how to interview your title companies in person or over the phone virtually. This is critical, guys. If you do not get the right title company, you're going to be in trouble. Okay. I go into grave, like very, very, very deep detail on this. Okay. Moving on. We're almost done. I promise you guys, I'm going to talk to you. Okay. Then you're going to find the cash buyers for it. Okay. We're going to teach you how to find the cash buyers, teach you how to cold call in the cash sales, how to pull them up. You're going to call your local for rents. Okay. They're just for rent signs. You look for signs in the neighborhood, or you just dig them up on the internet. Facebook groups are very, very powerful to find cash buyers. It's really easy. You just look in. So if I'm in like Knoxville, I'm going to look for Knoxville real estate investors groups and find as many as you can. Guys, auctions. Now, online auctions don't really work, but if you have like in-person auctions in your town, they're usually held on Saturday mornings. We have 2 companies here locally. It's a blast, man. And so I usually have about 80 to 100 buyers there, and they only sell one property. That means if I had 80 buyers, one's happy and 79 are pissed off. I'm going to get their information. I'm going to be respectful about it, and I'm going to network like crazy and get as many contacts as I humanly can. Going on with realtors, huge. Okay. You eventually have to network with realtors. You can't avoid this because realtors control 95% of the market. So if you constantly complain about realtors and avoid them, you're missing out on 95% of the market. And we teach you specifically how to train your realtors to find deals that work for your business. The key is not to have them bring you every deal. Okay. And then title companies. I could go on for probably 3 hours on title companies. I get deals from title companies. I have title companies give me data all the time. I have title companies give me the best pricing possible. They help me out with all my assignments. They absolutely do it all for me. And honestly, I couldn't run my business without the right title companies. They are like basically your partners. Okay. And you have to understand how to work them. And guys, don't forget, I'm going to add this on there is you can go to your local RIAs and network to find cash buyers. There's a lot of senior people in there, guys and gals that have been in the business a long time, like me, that love to work with newbies that can find a deal. Just get yourself a fair split on it. You don't have to take 10 or 20%. Okay. Give them 60% if they'll fund the whole thing and you get 40. And here's the key. Ask them to teach you to learn the process while you do it, because that's where the real value is in it. Okay. The next one is then you're going to qualify your cash buyers. And this one, man, I like beat this into you. So many of you guys have been taught over the last 10 years, you got to toughen up to your cash buyers. You really don't need them. They're a dime a dozen. Don't be a subservient to your cash buyers. All that stuff is coming back to roost right now, because if you sat there and burned cash buyers, it means you're in the same boat as the guy or girl that's starting out wholesaling now, because all you did was burn buyers for the last 5 years. I warned everybody about this. The day is here. Cash buyers at a premium. Honestly, my prediction by January, February, it's going to be harder to find cash buyers than it is going to be motivated sellers, or like 50-50. Okay. Guys, I have deals right now. I'm still scrambling to get cash buyers. So it's a real deal, because they're trying to find where the bottom of the market is and they're waiting. And I just gave you numbers that'll probably put a little more fear in them. Okay. So the first thing we do is we're going to establish proof of funds. If a cash buyer won't give you proof of funds, get rid of them. You do not want them. Okay. I'm telling you right now, cash buyers, if they can't give you a proof of funds, it means they don't have the money. End of story. Have a nice day. Move on. If they fight you on it, you're wasting your time with them. Okay. It doesn't mean be rude to them. It just means, listen, when you give me a proof of funds, then we can talk. Okay. Now keep in mind, they're going to ask you for something in exchange. You got to have deals. So don't be asking for proof of funds when you don't have any deals to offer them. That can somewhat be a sticking point on it. It's important you know that. The next one, make sure they're good with your wholesaling process. Some people don't want you to buy a property and make money on it. Okay. So make sure they're okay with you making a huge assignment fee. And here's how you say it. Hey, Mr. Cash Buyer, if I bought this property for $1 and sold it to you for a market value of say 200,000, would you have a problem with that? As long as I get clear title, I'm fine with it. Then you'll have a certain percentage go, oh, no, I'm not paying more than 10% of what you paid for it. Get rid of them. They're a waste of time. You don't want people like that. Okay. There's a lot of people that will value what you do. It doesn't mean be rude to them. It just means go find one that understands the value you're bringing to the table. Okay. Also confirm how many houses they bought really in the last year. Why? I don't want them buying like 50 houses because I know they're going to ask for the maximum discount. I want the person that buys just a few houses here and there because they're going to usually pay the most. Okay. And last but not least, get their buyer's criteria. Okay. You have to get their criteria. Otherwise, you'll never know. Okay. Are they a fix and flipper? Or are they a landlord? Do they like extensive rehab projects? What areas, what price points? That's all stuff you can easily get up front. Okay. We're almost done here, guys. I'm getting there. Okay. Market deal to the cash buyer. Critical. You can't take your deals and just post them on social media. So many people have been teaching this method. You guys keep in mind, you're selling the contract. So if you put pictures and address on there, you're actually representing of transacting on real estate, and you legally need a license to do that. So our workaround is you have to pre-qualify your cash buyers. Okay. Once you do that, then you can send them a private link, and we teach you how to do it in freewholesaling.com. Use a Google. You can use a simple Google Drive, and you can limit it where they can't share it and forward it. So it's not daisy chained all over the internet. Okay. But the best way to prevent that is to pre-screen everybody. Okay. And you want small lists you send it out to, and you're basically going to call them, let them know that once you have it locked up, your partner's going to go by seeing the house. We teach you how to walk through your buyers through the house. Remember, every seller is different. Okay. If your seller says, I can't have people coming through the house, my mom's on oxygen, it's dangerous, you're going to have to find a way to respect it and figure out how to get the deal done. And so some properties that are vacant, you can have the cavalry go through, just pre-screen everyone. And then some, you're only going to be able a chance to bring 1 or 2 people. You better make sure you have a deep discount on that house and you have good cash buyers. Okay. Now talk about walking through a cash buyer. Okay. This is the fun part is, so I told you about, some are easier, some are harder. And then basically we teach you how to do the walkthrough with the cash buyer. There's always 2 points to this. There's someone that has to deal with the cash buyer and somebody usually has to deal with the seller. Because sometimes when the sellers live in the house and they're there, you have to keep them separated. Okay. It's critical. And sometimes you're outnumbered. You got to get some people to help you out. We'll teach you on how to do that. And then last but not least, you're going to get that contract assigned. Okay. So most of the deals you do in the beginning are going to be an assignment of contract. So you're going to send the assignment over to the title company that you've already pre-vetted. We taught you how to do that. And then you're going to have the buyer drop off a non-refundable EMD, which is an earnest money deposit to the title company. Okay. And by the way, at freewholesaling.com, we provide you all the paperwork for it on how to do the assignment. And the really cool part is with my 20 years experience, I know every trick. I know every little nook and cranny that cash buyers try to weasel out of. And I have prevented all of it. I've had a lot of deals blow up and I've had a lawyer write language in there to protect us in the event they don't do it. So number one, you always protect yourself with a non-refundable deposit. We teach you how to fill out the form at the title company. So if they don't show up to closing, say you keep a $5,000 deposit, that deposit immediately gets signed over to you. You don't need your cash buyer's permission to release that money. You do that so people pay attention and they go to the closing table so you don't have to babysit them. And last but not least, we're basically going to close the deal. We're either going to do an assignment on most of your deals, especially in the beginning, or worst case scenario, you're going to do a double close. And guys, let me back this up here. That was a lot of information and I almost feel like I need like a break from it. So this is the whole process right here. I mean, look at this. And I went through it real quick. This is everything that we go through in detail on wholesaling.com. Now, if you guys are going to buy a course or doing anything like that, do me a favor and make sure you know what you're getting into, especially if you're paying for it. Honestly, I'm sharing and ripping the book covers off of it, and I'll even go one further with you. Okay. Let me see if I can share. Where is it? Okay. Let me try one more thing here and then we'll get to, I'll find this. So well, I tell you what, I'm going to do it at the end. Okay. Oh my God. I almost gave it out. So I'm going to show you at the end of this, after I do all the questions with you guys, I'm going to show you where to get this map so you can pick it apart. And then you can use that as a map to a blueprint to see where you need to do your most work. And then if you want to print it, like I'm a visual guy. So if I can print it and put it out in front of me, I have a lot of fun doing that. And some of you are just visual and I get it. And so you guys kind of asked us for a map. I go, hey, let's do one that can work and we can make it very helpful on it. So it's a lot of information, guys, I know. But the really cool part is we go into very, very detailed explanations in our course, tons of videos, tons of documents, everything you need. So I want you guys to check it out. So I'm going to go through questions. Let me get caught up here on the written questions, and then I'm going to jump on everybody in line here. So I haven't had time to look at everything. So it was a lot of information. So guys, let me know what you think of that. And just sometimes you got to look at go, okay, I got to start here and I got to work my way down here. And honestly, I've gone through it in very detail. Like it might be missing a few little things, but to me, it's the most detailed map you're ever going to follow on wholesaling without. Honestly, even if you paid for it, you're not going to get one in that much detail. So Eddie says he sees people knocking off 40, 50K just to get it sold quick. Eddie, it's going to go a lot deeper than this. I'm just telling you, I already gave you guys the stats. We're at 2% a month. We might be peaking at 3 here. And we just got to find when the 10-year T-bill is going to break, because that's what drives the mortgages. So if you guys see the 10-year T-bill, which I believe is about 4.16, by the way, at the beginning of the year, it was like 0. Okay. So it's gone up crazy. We've gone from, what is it? We've gone from 3% to 7.4%. That's insane. So keep it up. What's up, Kaylin? Working my way through. I had a question on here. I started a few of them. So Ryan says, hey, Rick, I want to know why you said that you should not use your personal number to cold call people. Well, number one, some people are just difficult. Okay. And if they get a hold of your cell number, you're going to have to get a new cell number, because they will, there's some people that have nothing better to do in their life than to pester. Okay. There's a lot of Karens out there. And some of those Karens are guys. Actually, I think the guys are actually worse. So for that reason, you got to protect some of your personal information. Also, you can have issues. Sometimes we call people that are on the DNC. I'm not getting the legalities of it, but if you put your personal phone number out, you make yourself a really easy target. The same thing with bandit signs, guys. Never, ever put your personal phone number on there. Use a virtual phone number. You can rent them for whatever time you're using. I'm just telling you, do not put your personal phone number. It's going to be a problem for you. Ask me. Well, I never put my personal phone number. That's crazy. So, so Diego says, hey, Rick, how do I do a proper ARV on a home? So ARV just stands for after repaired value. And honestly, if you use like listrei.com or zachdata.com, probably some of the best places, but you can do it for free. You can go through Zillow, you can go through Trulia, and you can go through realtor.com. And what I do is an average. Now, you're in a market that's declining. So understand all comps are arranged. So if a price range is from 200 to 220, you're going to go at 200 and you're going to take a discount off of that. That's how you guys have to buy properties right now. Otherwise, you're going to have challenges. Okay. In the last 4 or 5 years, everyone's picked the highest comp because they knew they could get more in it. And that's what speculators do. Okay. Wholesalers never do that. Okay. We're conservative. We're buying on the discount, period. If you don't get a discount, you don't have a deal. How do you find a discount? Find somebody with motivating factors. And I promise you, you will eventually find a wholesale deal. Okay. That's a good one. She says the guys are called Kens. That's a good one. So they're Kens and Karen. So I gotta give Tanya credit on that one. So very, very good. So guys, that's it. Just remind me before I hang up with you guys, I'll show you exactly how to get the mind map, and then you can use it in your business and you can hold yourself accountable, and we can work through it doing it that way. So let's see here. Let me bounce around. Samuel, you there? Samuel. And he's gone. Okay. Well, that was quick. Okay. Listen, guys, I don't bite. I promise, man. So, hey, I see a baby there. You there? Jinjay, can you hear me?
Hey, what's up?
How you doing?
I'm doing really, really good. I tried to get on yesterday and I didn't have time to talk
I know.
to you
I
guys.
saw you. So I saw you popped up there. So I took you first there. So
Thank you so much.
Tell us about that little one you have there.
Oh my goodness, she's just like a month and a week old.
Oh my gosh. Congratulations.
You know what?
Gosh.
Her name is True. She's my first girl, but I have 3 other boys. They're all named Rick.
Really?
They're all named after their dad. Their dad's name is Rick.
I told my daughter, when you have a kid, you're going to name it Rick. She's like,
it's a terrific name. There's so many nicknames. I got Ricky. I got Rico. Like it's great.
Yeah. Okay. They're always yelling at me. So that's awesome. Awesome. So how are your nights going?
They've been, you know what? I've kind of gotten like I'm trying really hard to find an avenue where I can make some money.
Okay.
So I've had like last week I went really, really, really deep into wholesaling. And this week I kind of was trying to do more like affiliate marketing type of stuff. But I'm going back into wholesaling this week because I actually was pretty successful with it. And then I just kind of got disheartened. So let me tell you about what happened.
Okay.
So the first person that I got in contact with that was interested, they hated my offer. I used the formula that you guys have. Like I have it up on my board here, like all of the stuff that you guys have, like about the repair costs and the max allowable offer and like the motivation, condition, time frame, price. She did not like the offer, the lowball offer. So she got mad and she hung up.
Okay.
So the next person that I got in contact with, they were, they had, okay, right. So their property was listed at 204. It was listed and the listing expired after like 104 days. I think it was off of a code violation or a tax lien.
Okay.
So I kind of thought that I hit the jackpot because the price on PropStream and batch leads, it was valued at like 275, 290, and they had listed it for 204 and then the listing expired. I was like, oh, like this could really be a great move. So I went and I called them, and when I spoke to them, I offered 200, like thinking that they were going to go up to 204 and then be like, oh, well, you know, if you're going to give me what the listing was offered as, that would be great. It was this super, super old lady. Okay. And she seemed to not even know that her property was listed. I don't know if she was just playing with me or what happened. She was like, oh, it was listed. Like, I didn't know. And she was like, oh no, definitely way higher than 204. I want something more like 300,000.
Yeah.
And so I said, you know, I was like, okay, well, let me go talk to my financial advisor and see what I'll be able to offer you. And I was so nervous about like the last time that I had even gotten in contact with somebody making too low of an offer. I didn't want this to slip out of my hands.
Yeah.
So this time I offer her 275, like way, way, way too high, right?
Yeah.
She kind of said like she would accept it immediately, but she was just, I don't know. It was very, very strange. She was super, I guess this is just like an older person thing, but she seemed super forgetful. She asked me a million times, like, what did you say you were offering? Like, what's your name again? What's your phone number? A million times.
Are you doing this virtually or locally?
So I'm not really able to leave the house with all my kids, you know, but I'm actually staying with my mom at the moment.
Okay.
And she says that she is willing to kind of be my boots on the ground to at least go and take pictures of the property.
So if you had to get somebody out there, you could.
Definitely could.
Okay, there's a big difference between traveling 4 or 5 states or, you know, taking like an hour round trip. So let me, like, I can kind of tell you're a little bit all over the board, but I love when people spam on this thing. It's so funny. So how long ago did you start this process on wholesaling specifically?
Only like, I really only worked at it for like 2 weeks.
Okay. So I can tell you're excited about it and like you get it. Okay. So the reality is, if you have a chance, go watch the live me and Zach did yesterday, because we had some really hard discussions with people. And I think you would get a lot of value from that. I'm not trying to waste your time. I'm just telling you. Okay. So I don't have that same conversation with you because I want you to get something from this call. Okay.
I actually saw that. I saw that where you were talking to the young man about
just like I had some guy and like, listen, I don't do anything to embarrass people, but he was discouraged after 250 calls. I'm like, dude, you have like, that's an average setting for one of my employees in a day, just like in the evening to make. Like we do it every day, nonstop, 6 days a week. They would laugh me out of my, like, it's crazy. And then I had Zach, you know, Zach made hundreds and hundreds of thousands of cold calls. He probably made 50,000 before we made any like real money with it. And it's like, we all want it. Like you're only in 2 weeks, and you're eager about it. So number one, first of all, when you're going for the no, just understand there is no dead set formula. People, 70% of this. The whole go for no strategy is try to build enough rapport that you don't get hung up and you don't get kicked out of the house. Okay. Because nobody wants to kick somebody out that's being nice to them, right? It's going to happen. So if you build enough rapport and you say, listen, you know, what do you need to get for the property? And they don't spit out a number. You get in that awkward phase. So when you start to feel nervous and panicky, it means you're offering the right number, because
Okay.
the pain is up front. And if you get an acceptance on that pain, or you get close to a better number, your life's so much easier afterwards. Now, for instance, on the older lady we're talking about, that one's all over the board, but how much is the house really worth in your estimate?
The
Roughly.
last prices that people were paying for it, like last year, it seems like the valuation might have gone up this year, but the last prices that people were actually buying it for cash for last year looked like 250-ish.
So why would you offer her 275?
The valuation on PropStream said 290, and I saw, like, I'm so unfamiliar with the software. I thought that when I was looking at what people had recently bought it for, said 290 as well, but then when I looked closer, it looks like that was what they're just valuing those properties at now for this year, instead of what people most recently bought them for.
Correct. So listen, I tell people, don't spend more than 5 minutes doing comps, because if you are, you're trying to force something to happen, and it's not. You can't manipulate a comp to work out for you. It's just going to force you into a bad decision. Comps are always a range. It might be 275 to 290. Okay. Take the lower of them and even reduce it. I'd say like 260, 265, because you're in a market that's dropping 2% a month. Just do some math here. Okay.
Okay.
Keep in mind, say if you pay 270 for that house and it's only worth you got to understand, it costs 12% just to close on real estate, all the fees and stuff. There's no real discount for anyone to make that work. And number two, the elder lady, other than it being an expired listing, which I think is what initially keyed you off on it, right?
Yeah.
Listen, there's a lot more expired listings than you guys actually think. People are just crazy on prices sometimes. They're like, they put it out there, and if it doesn't hit, like, it's very common in Florida, people put a property on the market for a year, everyone ignores it, and they're like, oh, whatever, I'll redo it again. So expired listings are valuable when markets are really starting to get pounded. Like, they become valuable. But keep in mind, the reason they put it on the market was for what? Why would they hire a real estate agent?
That's like, I guess she's saying that they want to downsize. They want to sell their other properties.
So the problem is, I will tell you this, little old ladies, unless you can get the right motivation basically on the phone, you got to go see them in person, because it never works on the phone. I'm used to that 1,000 times over. Like, we have a lot of people tell us, like, we don't know the value of our house. And like, some wholesalers think that's a green light to take advantage of people. Not. You just go, listen, do you have a sister, or like you have kids we can involve in the decision? And you just try to treat them like your own, like mom or grandma, and just try to take care of them. Because if you try to sell, the family's going to sell it to the person they trust the most, that didn't try to harm them. And that's all you can do. It's really difficult to have those conversations on the phone. So a lot of times, if you can say, listen, find out what's wrong with the house, and find out why it's not selling, and find out what her goal is. Like, when do you want to have it sold by, and where is she living? The biggest challenge for any person selling a house is where they're going to move to. An older person, it's even more critical, because a lot of older people, they can't have a 2-story house because they got to get around. So start asking quality questions like that with old people, and just try to guide them like you would, like like an elderly member of your family, and just take care of them. But you're just going to need a lot of quantity. You've got to like work on not being. It's okay to be nervous to make the offer, but remember, you're just looking for the counter. Let me tell you, if a house was worth 200 and you offer 100 and they said yes, would you be super excited?
Yeah.
So who cares? Here's the problem. If you offer 170 and they off the bat and they go, I'll take it. That's awesome. How are you going to feel?
I mean, exactly
like
how I felt, which was like, damn.
You're going to feel like you overpaid for it. And it's going to be like, you're going to spend the next 3 weeks trying to figure out how to reduce that price. So the way me and Zach teach it, it protects you against this. Remember, 9 out of 10 are going to kick you to the curb. Just accept it. So don't get nervous about it, and just blame somebody else, like your partner. Go, listen, don't shoot the messenger here, but my partner said I can only offer 140 grand. And then she goes, well, can you do 150? Then you're a hero. And if she goes, are you crazy? And you go, I know, my partner, that's why I'm here. So you can instantly go good cop, bad cop. And I think that would work really well for you, because you're just a naturally nice person. You have the gift to talk to people, so use it. don't be scared because it's what your family needs for you to stand up for them. You cannot overpay for properties. In 2023, anyone who overpays for a property is going to be severely penalized. And I'm telling you, so understand you're going to get rejected. Occasionally you'll get hung up, and it's just a numbers game. So keep going through the numbers. And like, you have your hands full, but the beauty of wholesaling, if you can figure out and put through it in a year or two, like, you will have all the flexibility of whatever you want to do. So how old are your boys?
I have two 2-year-olds and a 3-year-old.
Oh, wow. Wow.
So I actually, yeah.
I don't know, but like, so like a big part of like, so you guys can check me out on my Rick Ginn channel. So, because I talk about other things real estate related. And so I've raised 2 kids. So I have, gosh, she's going to kill me. Zach's, he just turned 23 and my daughter is 21. Okay. So she's in the medical field. I love what she's doing. She's great. But you know, as a parent, your kids watch what you do much more than what you say. Like, after a while, we all get numb to what people say. So I'm just telling you, like, walk the walk. The reason my son's doing what he's done, because he's like, you just spent so much time with me. Because for 12 years, I didn't even come, like, all I did was work. Like, my wife's like, you leave at dark, you come home at dark, you're gone every day. And it's just, one day I just lost it. I'm like, I can't do this anymore. And I went out and did it the hard way. And I kept my corporate job while I tried to figure it out. And I had 2 little tiny children with a mortgage, and my wife wasn't working. So I was highly motivated. I was like, man, whatever it takes to get out of this. And I didn't care. And I had the same stuff everyone's thinking on this thing. And you know what the thing is, like, I've never disconnected from it. And it's what makes me different from like all the other wholesale coaches stuff. I know it's like to be in the fight. And then I took Zach 5 years ago through the fight. I go, hey, you want to do it? And I go, if I could teach a high school kid how to do this. But for the record, he's much smarter than I am. He got his mother's brains, not mine. So I'm like, Zach, so he went to college, did the whole thing. He got everything paid for. Both my kids did. And he's like, I want to be free. Like, I don't want to work for someone. Like, what do you do? And I thought I was protecting my kids by like, well, you know, and I was really hard on them. Like, here's bandit signs. You pay for them. You answer the phone. And if you don't survive, you know, it's a tough world. And he did well. And he asked a lot of questions, and it got fun. And then before I know it, he ran every department in my company over a 3-year period. And then he brought me so much business. I was like, oh, let's just work together. And he's like, hey, we need to help other people out. I go, well, there's a problem in the coaching business. And that's how we got to this point of helping you guys out for free. So you're only,
which is incredible. It's incredible, by the way.
And he just like, but what I'm trying to tell you, my example here is you have to lead by example with your kids, because your kids, they think you're like superwoman, superhero. Like, even parents that aren't doing the greatest, no matter what, your kids always think you're great. Like, I grew up in a tough environment, but I thought my mom and dad were like superheroes. And like, but we were 4 kids, we struggled. But if your kids don't know the struggle, you actually did a good job. But the idea is the true value of, listen, with little ones, the idea is get them fed and keep them safe and like, keep them healthy. But when they get 14, 15, you're like, okay, I'm not going to accept what my parents did the best they could. So now I know everything. How can I do it? And the best thing, once they get to those preteen years, is show them what you're doing. So you got a long way to go before that time comes. And I'm telling you, if you lead it, the only reason Zach followed me is like, he goes, I just enjoyed being with you, and how can I spend more time with you? I'm like, holy crap, this might work out. And it's like that. So what you guys don't know, my wife works in my business. She doesn't want to be on camera, and I don't blame her. So it's like,
right.
We run like a true family business, and like wholesaling gave me that gift. So everything we do is like about our family and what we do. And yeah, your kids, like, guys, you're in a different world. They do not have to go get a regular job. I have no problem with people have a job. I had a job for a long time, but if you have the ability to get the freedom and like really get financial freedom and freedom of your time, like I would never have to work another day in my life. Now, I'm 52. But I tell you guys, I kind of did it the hard way. I did 7 years of wholesaling all by myself. I didn't know any better. So learn. 2 years, that's all you need. 2 years. I'm telling you, 2 years will make a tremendous difference. So don't get nervous when you ask for low, because you're protecting you and your family when you do it. Nothing worse than overpaying for a property. On the affiliate marketing thing, just if you want to do it and it's an established business and it's cash flowing, I understand we have to juggle things, but you're going to have to make a decision at some point, because it's hard to do 2 things, especially if affiliate market's new to you. and you don't have a history doing it, trying to do two new things at the same time is hard.
Right.
Okay.
And I just one more question.
Go ahead.
By the way, like you got what you guys are doing is awesome, because a guru recently tried to reach out to me, and if it weren't for you, like I would be so tempted by these things, but you're literally giving us a new perspective on.
Hey, listen, here's what I say. You guys can use me, and if it doesn't work, you can go pay the guru. Like, so why wouldn't you do it that way? So it's it just you okay? Okay. She's a little busy. So guys, listen, I already said, I already told you, I've given you full disclosure. I've paid for people before. That's never been my problem. Okay. My problem is this, you don't have to do any work. It's so easy. And then the problem is most gurus right now are telling you, you have to have a substantial budget to market. Okay. I'm telling you, you don't. And we're especially rolling in a market where you guys have to be resourceful. If you're going to pay a guru 5 or 10 grand to learn this basic business, you're already in the hole. End of story. I'm sorry. It's just the truth. I told you, a guru went on the internet and said, you guys asked me to deliver a course to teach you how to find leads for free, but I can't offer it for free. And by the way, when you register, you have to tell me what your marketing budget is. You've got to be kidding me. Okay. I don't make this stuff up. I wish I swear I wish I was making it up, but unfortunately that's where we're at. So anyways, back to it. I promise you, I'm going to share the link at the end. We're almost there. So hang on with me. I promise you. So actually, you know what? Let's cut out the games because I don't want to play like the gurus do. Let me show you how to do it now, and I'll share it with you at the end again. But like, stay tuned, because I don't need you to hang on for me to give you something, because I believe that me and Zach provide true value for you. So if you go into freewholesaling.com, there'll be a section right here. By the way, you get a quick peek of all the tabs, everything we do, everything we talked about there. You click this free mind map of wholesaling process. The whole thing's right there for you. Okay. Freewholesaling.com. If you want to get that mind map, go there. All you guys, there's no cost. You just register with your email and it's always there for you. And it'll help you guide and work through the free wholesaling course so you can figure out where you need to get everything done. We've kind of marked everything, the wholesaling process step by step. And then you have the mind map, excuse me, which is basically everything I showed you here. So, wait a minute. I didn't share my screen with you guys, did I? Hold on. Let me do that again. I'm sorry. My bad. Oops, wrong one. Let me try it again. Stop screen, share. You guys know I'm not a technological wizard. Okay. So in freewholesaling.com, if the long way to get there is you go to flipwithrick.com, but freewholesaling.com, you'll register with your email there, and then it'll bring you to the startup page. And on the top, because we want to make it super simple and very clear what you're getting into with us. Okay. You are going to have to do the work. So you're going to go to free mind map, and you just click this link, and you'll basically get exactly what I showed you in our live stream today. So I'll show it to you guys at the end again. So it's all there for you. I don't like to play games with you. It's like, have you guys noticed the word free is being abused in wholesaling now? So we had this free movement because it's free. Okay. The worst thing you can do is be sucked into someone's free stuff only to get hit with a sales call. Like for $5,000, I'll show you how to really wholesale. Guys, I'm talking about wholesaling. The young lady I was just talking to, she's getting hammered with phone calls because she signed up for free stuff. And then they're trading her phone number and her email to tell her, listen, $5,000, I'll show you how to do everything. You're going to be super happy. Guys, I wish it was that easy, but let me ask you, if you pay a guru 5 or 10 grand to learn wholesaling, and then they tell you got to spend $3 to $5,000 a month to make it, understanding 10, let's see, you're making a $25,000 commitment to learn a basic skill set. in a rapidly declining market, I don't know, guys. I think it's a risky venture, but it's anyways, that's where I go. What's up, Jim? I appreciate it. Numo asks, with his ripped muscles on there, hey, Rick, do you think I should have a couple months wholesaling? Should I form a team to cover more ground faster? No, but go over to freewholesaling.com, understand what you're getting into, and then understand how to pull lists and decide if you're going to spend money or you're going to do it with little to no money. One's a little bit more challenging, but they're both going to be a journey. So the first 7 years, guys, of wholesaling, I did it all by myself. Not quite by myself. My wife helped out. I had some VAs, but for the most part, I did it too long. Okay. So now we've all learned how to do it. 2 years, guys. You're going to have to commit at least 1 or 2 years for you to understand how this business works. And depending on your level to be able to manage people and implement systems, then you can scale the business. But you have got to prove the business model first. So if you guys ever been on Shark Tank, you understand how it works. The person that goes out and does sales and proves the validity of the product and proves the margins and will go out and do anything to get a sale are the ones the investors want to invest in. The ones that go out and raise venture capital and hire all the courses and stuff like that, they're typically losing operations. All they are is selling the idea, and you do not want to be the person that sells the idea. I always want to work with people that prove what they can do. You guys that want to pair up with us on doing deals, if you can bring a great deal to the table, I can partner up with you and get it sold. But they've got to be good deals. I'm not charging you to input the deals. You know, there's a lot of gurus, they make hundreds of thousands of dollars just having you guys submit leads. And the reason for telling you is, well, they got to have skin in the game. They got to figure out how to do it. Like the reality is they're only taking 3 or 4 deals and they're collecting hundreds of thousands of dollars of coaching fee. It's a win-win for them. So we're going to be much more honest with you up front on it. So now figure out if you're just starting out, you've got to do the journey. And then once you master it, then you can easily teach. If I didn't have Zach do cold calling for 2.5 years raw by himself, we wouldn't have the success we have now with the team we run on cold callers. So the problem is if you're going to train someone on cold calls and you've never made a cold call, it's almost impossible to tell them how to do it. And then you're going to buy into some investor will say, well, I have a cold calling center down, I don't know, in Mexico or whatever, and I'm going to do it. And I'm just going to charge you $2,500 a month plus the call times. They never work out. They never work out. They all come and go. I've watched all these call centers. They come and go, every one of them. Why? Because you're just paying for his staff for them to make cold calls and you're a side hustle. So that's it, man. Pistol for 3. Shout out from Indiana, Rick. I have landed a few deals already by following you and Zach. And thanks, man. So this right here, so I don't ask for solicitations. You guys, when you're asked for testimonial, when you do these paid courses, please wait a year before you post them up, because you better make sure you got, so if you paid 10 grand and another 15, 20 grand in the market and you're going to brag about a $10,000 or $15,000 deal, you just you're going to be losing money. So you got to pay attention and do it. So I appreciate it. We get thousands of messages like this. So I'm not making it up, guys. You see it in the live stream. I don't know Pistol 3. I'm sure he's fine, but regular people can do this stuff. Okay. Yes, you can get ahead by paying people, but the reality is most coaches are flipping you. They're not flipping property. And the little secret is it's much more profitable to do a coaching program than it is doing wholesaling. And to me, I actually think that's wrong. I know I go against the grain on this. I know a lot of people hate me. I don't care. I don't need their acceptance. I'm at the point in my life. I'm only here to make you guys, to give you guys what you truly want. You want to learn how to get into wholesaling, how to get started and cut all the crap out. And how do we pull the veil down and make this work? And I'm telling you on how to do it. So let's see here. So Nick, I will fix the map when I get off this live stream. I'm sure it's something technical, but so that my map will be in freewholesaling.com. I'll just have to reach out to our technical team to figure it out. So I appreciate it. Hey, are you okay? I can't hear you. You're
Hello,
on mute.
can you hear me now?
Yeah, yeah. I just
Sorry,
want to
my
make
phone
sure you're
died.
okay. I heard a little bit of scream there. I'm like, oh gosh.
Oh my goodness, a scream.
Well, I just want to make sure you didn't drop the baby. So
No, no, nothing like that. No, no, no. My phone just died. I don't know what the scream was.
that's okay. I just
Might have
wanted to
been-
see if you were kind of finishing off on that and the phone just died. So
Yes, I was actually going to say, I heard a guru mention retail buyers being like potentially paying more. I didn't know what that was. What can you talk a little bit about what that is? Do they actually pay more? How would you find them? What is a retail buyer?
So if you're looking for a retail buyer, it's going to cut you out as a wholesaler because you need a cash buyer to move quick. So a retail buyer is going to make
Okay.
you're going to have to fund it and do all sorts of tricky stuff. And honestly, you're not in a market to do that. When the market is smoking hot like it was in 2021, you could actually do that strategy. It was a small window of about 18 months where nobody could go wrong, but it was an anomaly. It was like crazy. And it was just, you could buy anything and just mark it up 10% and people would pay for it because there was nothing available. It was a supply and demand thing. It wasn't like, that really has nothing to do with wholesaling other than you could take a regular deal and even like we even took deals that we normally wouldn't take because we knew people would just pay more for them. And those days are over. They're 100% gone. And they're not coming back for probably 3 years. So here's the really good news. Now you can learn wholesaling how it's supposed to be. This is how it is like normally. The last 5 years, we've created more gurus than we have in the last probably 80 years because of technology and people have figured out how to market people and you're all buying into the dream, man. Like, do you guys really think there's a pill you can take and everyone's going to drop 30 pounds in like 2 weeks? Like, but people still buy that stuff.
Yeah.
And it's happening in this business. So I wouldn't worry. You don't want to do anything retail. You just need cash buyers. That's truly because retail is speculation and I don't teach that. So let me know in your progress.
Yeah.
And just, you're only 2 weeks into it. So just kind of work your way and discipline yourself out. And it's going to be some work. I'm not going to lie to you, but when you get that nervous feeling, it means you're right. You just got to ask it for them. So and remember, the worst they're going to do, you've already had the worst happen to you. What's the worst you're going to do if they don't take your offer?
No, and hang up. Like
there you go.
Right.
So if you ever had someone hang up on you and say no, you have. Yeah. So get used to it. It's going to happen. And just don't let it affect your psyche. You have to be detached. So guys, here's the key to wholesaling. God knows this is the truth. You have to be detached from the outcome. So many years when I was doing really well, I got dependent on doing deals. It was like dopamine. Like, so some people use drugs and alcohol. Don't do that. But when you start getting a rush on doing deals, and sometimes you start reaching just to get the deal accepted and go, listen, if they don't accept this deal, this is how it's meant to be. And this is what God wants for me. And it doesn't mean I'm a good or a bad person. Okay. The money you make in wholesaling is when you're learning. Okay. Everybody thinks you make money like when you're at my stage. I made my money in the first 2 years of this business because I figured it out. I had to find deals with little to no money because I was broke. And the sooner you can learn that, the better you're off going to be. So
thank you so much.
Okay. I'll talk to you. Bye.
Thank you.
Okay. Let's see here. Okay. I bounced some people off here. Let me get on. Who did I miss here? Ravon, you there?
Yes, up. Can you hear me?
Yeah. How you doing?
Good. How about you?
Good, man. What's going on?
So recently I got PropStream. So the question I had is when I try to search their address up from PropStream and search it on Google, majority of them are owned by like LLCs, investors, banks. So I was wondering if I should, call them up and do wholesale deals with them or no.
Okay. So what kind of list are you pulling up? Are these like driving for dollars or?
No. So these are vacant houses. So my city I'm doing is Wayne County.
Okay.
I did vacant houses, and when I search up their address on Google, majority of them are owned by LLCs, like I said, investors, banks. So I was wondering if I should call them up or ignore them.
Okay. So first one, don't bother with banks at all. It's a waste of time. You'll never get anywhere. Okay. The only way you ever have a shot at buying a bank property is if they list it with a broker. And even then it's a nightmare. Okay. Number two, LLCs. So in your state, you should have the ability to look up businesses within your state. Mm-hmm. And you can easily, if you have the business name, you can look it up, and there's usually an assigned person on there.
Okay.
You might have to skip trace it, but a lot of times some states share the phone numbers, and you can get that information other than like the state of Wyoming. So you used to be able to do this in Nevada. You can't, like, now it's all public. So, and maybe Delaware are the only two that you can't really do that in. So understanding you're dealing with businesses.
Yeah.
Hopefully they're small LLCs. I like to look and see if they're inactive, because then just so you know, if people put a property in LLC and they don't keep it active, they have to go through some serious pain to activate their corporate status to get the LLC. Otherwise, they can never sign on the deed. I have this happen all the time. If they tell you that, you can tell them how to do the process, and I'm happy to walk you through it. And it cost them about between $500 and $1,000, and a lot of them won't do it just for that reason. And I say, listen, I'll go ahead and pick up that fee, but I got to get the right deal to do it. They think it's going to cost 10 grand with a lawyer, and it's not. So a lot of times when they tell you that in the LLCs, that's one of the bigger problems. But I like small mom and pop shops. So it's like, you just got to take the extra work and look it up. It's not that big of a deal. Banks, total waste of time. Do not, like, in 20 years, I've never bought a property directly from a bank without some sort of crazy seller involved and a broker. So,
is it like the same thing, do I ask? Like MCTP, motivation, condition, time frame? Like, is it the same process?
Yeah, you just got to be a little bit slicker, because if they went through the trouble of setting up an LLC, they probably had a plan, and most likely the plan didn't work out. So just you might want to try to find out if they're on the market or not. I prefer they bid off the market. And just go through. Like, some people just need the money. Like, as you got to understand, as values keep dropping, guys, we're at 2% a month dropping now, 8 months consecutive. So we've gone from like 0.25%, we're up to 2%. My projections can put us close to 2.5 to 3% a month. And it looks like this is going to go on through spring and next summer minimum. And remember, real estate has a lagging hangover effect. It takes a long time to get it going back the other way. So 2023, you are 100% almost guaranteed to be in a downward spiraling market. That's, in my opinion, is going to be reckless by January, February, because the data shows very, very bad now, and it's 2 months behind. And I know it hasn't gotten better. So as you have property sit, they have less and less options for it. The reason a property's sitting is they just want to figure out how to get it sold without dealing with a bunch of crap. Or I don't know if it's in legal limbo, but it never makes sense why properties just sit there. Sometimes the rehabbers right now, I'm getting calls on people running out of money to finish the rehabs. That's we've gotten 3 or 4 leads on that. So you guys are going to see it, because there's a lot of people that got in the fix and flip, because people do fix and flip shows. Like, you can make $100,000 and design properties and do this beautiful flooring. And guys, wholesalers should never watch fix and flip shows. Number one, 95% of them are fake, because it's about watch this TV. And most of the time they're trying to film the drama of what's going on. And most of that's scripted and fake. And then the second part is everyone likes to look at that design of a pretty home. Listen, I like to look at it too, but find a good deal in wholesaling. If you want to do that, that's great. But honestly, like the fix and flips, everybody putting a fix and flip on the market is freaking out. And the ones that are buying properties well above the average median price, they're in big risk. And that's where you guys can go. So a lot of LLCs, the other thing you're going to find out is a lot of them have partners, and you got to deal with that crap. So it's like,
I found out because a lot of them, they have their information on Zillow. So I was like, I was not kind of sure if I should call them up before asking you. Because if I make, if I call them.
Listen, guys, if you're ever in doubt if you should call someone, just call them. Like, you don't need my permission. Just do it. The worst they're going to do is tell you no, and then you will learn and go forward. Like, part of the learning process is you have to experience it, right?
Yeah.
And like, after a while, okay, I'm not calling this type of person, because like that doesn't work, and it's never worked for me. But you got to get through hundreds, if not thousands, of calls to make that decision yourself. Yeah. The idea is when you get on here and you go, Rick, hey, is this worth it? If you're even thinking about it, just call. It ain't going to hurt you. It's not going to cost you anything unless you got to skip trace it. And if you got the phone number already online, just call. LLCs are a pain in the butt to call, but like eventually you'll get through to someone and they usually call you back. And you're looking at a market where people, just houses are sitting. Here's the cool part, guys. Values are going down. So when people want to wait to make a decision, just remind them it's probably going to cost them money. Okay. because you cannot come back in 3 months and offer that same price. Right now, you guys should be looking at 2% discounts every month. Somebody waits to make a decision because your cash buyers, I guarantee, are going to demand it. Okay. So right now we're at 1.8% dropping a month. I believe we're already at 2 because it's 2 months behind. The question is, can it drop at 3? At 8% mortgage rates, guys? And this is like crazy exciting. Everybody's been asking for this for the last 5 years, and it's here. And everyone's acting scared. And remember what Warren Buffett said: when people are fearful, you need to be greedy, and the opposite. And the last 2 years, when people are greedy, you need to be fearful. And I'm telling you, it's going on right now. I'm watching it in slow motion. It's like I was created for this moment. And you guys just need guidance to understand you need to go out and find deals without spending money right now. This old system of spend $5,000 to $10,000 a month brand new and then have a guru show you how to do it. Guys, if you told me, Rick, if I told you, Rivon, you got to spend $5,000 a month to work with me on my coaching program,
I wouldn't do it.
I could probably find you one deal, but what are you going to do after that? Like you're going to have to figure everything out because that's only going to work so far. It's just the truth.
Yeah.
So if you guys can go out and prove the theory of how wholesaling works and do it with little to no money, then get some money and let the business pay for itself. If you guys ever watch Shark Tank, a smart investor entrepreneur proves the product, makes some money, reinvest that back into his money, and then he does paid services to try to grow his business. The people that go out and do what we call raise venture capital, which is AKA credit cards, consulting coachings that don't do wholesaling anymore, they're moving their hands around and they spend a ton of money and they never get to their success. And before they know it, they're going to give up because it never came profitable because they were hiding behind all the numbers. And I'm here to tell you, you just got to fight through it. So can you spend money? Does your odds go up when you spend money to find a deal? Probably, but in my opinion, it's temporary because you didn't understand how to do it. And eventually that coach is going to go bye-bye. And are you going to have the discipline to hold yourself accountable? And here's the other thing, guys. If you think a coach is there to handhold and make you accountable, they are not your mother. Okay. You have to be a grown adult. I'm just going to man up with everybody and I'm going to woman up and say, you have got to figure out how to make yourself accountable. And if you lack in this department, start with the basics. The time you wake up, schedule in your physical activity, and just start creating disciplines and stop negotiating with yourself. If you want a good book to stimulate, go with You Can't Hurt Me, David Goggins. He teaches you about mental barriers. Okay. All your roadblocks are all in your head, guys. It's nowhere else. So just go, man. Go crazy. Make phone calls, man. You can't screw it up. You can't screw it up. If anything, you don't make enough phone calls. I'd rather you make a bunch of phone calls and call me back and say, Rick, I called these types. Check out what this happened with that. I love that stuff. Okay. So the guys, you can't have somebody endorse everything. You just understanding you have to have massive quantity of leads in the beginning to make up for your shortness in experience. And remember, what's the one thing that inexperience you can make up with youth? So I'm 52. I'm an old guy, right? How old are you?
18.
Okay, you're 18. So what's the difference between you and me? You don't have my experience, but what do you have over me?
Age, young. I'm younger than you.
You're more enthusiastic. You get more excited, and I will do whatever I have to do to make it you comfortable. Okay. Yeah. And what happens is a lot of older investors, we get salty, man. We're here's what I can give you. You take that. And it's like, hey, dude. So you get a young, excited person and go, listen, I know I'm not the most experienced, but do you know how many young people I give a shot today? I get people, I go, Zach, that kid was so amazing. I know he's well underqualified, but his attitude is amazing. And honestly, I'll give him a shot. I go, but if you don't live up to what you say in the first 30 days, you're gone. Okay. Yeah. And you better, if that excitement was fake, I'm going to find out in 48 hours. And so if I do that, I know sellers do that too. Do you have any deals I got? They go, listen, you're by far the least qualified person, but you were by far the nicest, the most informative, and most respectful. And for that reason, I'm going to give you a shot. All you are is need a few shots, and you get some money on your belt, and then you can spend a little bit of money to try to make the business a little bit easier. Okay.
Okay.
So
Okay.
go out.
So I
You got it, man. Quantity, man. Guys, if you get one thing across to me, it's going to be quantity. You got to do it. Okay. Oops. Sorry, Rivon. I'm just I'm trying to get everybody on here. Who else did I miss here?
Hey, what's
Yo,
up,
you
man?
there?
Yes, sir. How's it going?
Good, man. How you doing?
Pretty good. Let me
You in the car, right?
No,
Oh, where are you?
I'm actually in my room. I got a stack of 40 probate mailers right here. I just need
See,
to get
this is
stamps.
beautiful. So
Yeah, I
he's
got more on the way.
talking real estate and actually taking action. So I can't, you can't do much better than this, guys. So it's, and by the way, what he sees doing there every 2 days a week, that's what me and my wife would sit there and do. We just like, hey. And then at one point, I actually found a little old lady next door. And she used to handwrite, and she would take the envelopes and handwrite everything for us. And then she would batch them up, and she helped to get the mail out. And that was my first event of scaling with employees. But what's going on, man? What can I help you out with?
So it's going pretty good. So just a couple questions. While I'm on the topic of those mailers, actually, for return address, I know you talked about, like, I watched your probate mailer video the other day, and I know you talked about, I think, like a virtual business address that you could buy online. Now, do you need a return address on them? Because I know you could probably get away with not putting one on there, but then you wouldn't really know how many bounce back, and then they'd be lost.
So, listen, a local return address will give you the authenticity that is typically required. So, like, I do a lot of, so I do markets all over the country. I go through the painful effort of getting a local address. I typically use UPS stores, but here's the catch, okay? Especially if you guys are doing virtually, you got to have somewhere to return the mail to. It physically has to go. So if you pay for like a UPS mailbox in another state, somebody has to go there and pick it up. Otherwise, the box gets overfull and you get like a lot of crazy people calling you. I've had people tell me about like virtual addresses where they'll scan it for you, but it sounds a little expensive to kind of do that. It might be 20, 30 bucks a month. I would like to get the data. So do me a favor, go to mailingmastery.com. Have you gone through that?
Actually, no, not yet.
Okay. So it's on the bottom of your screen there. It's a 100% free course. I include it in freewholesaling.com. I give you my 20 years experience of everything you want to know about like direct mail. And honestly, most people would pay 15, 20 grand for this. Everything's in there. Okay. The challenge is a return address makes it more apparent, but sometimes if you're on a budget, you just got to do what you got to do. And that's the problem with it, because we get a lot of valuable leads on like returned address. But more importantly than that is you can do a, you get, what was I saying? It gives you authenticity. So like if I mail in your market and it's being mailed from Florida, like, oh, this guy's from out of town. We also use local phone numbers. It's easy to get a virtual phone number. So you have to decide which way you want to go with it. Check out Mailing Master. I go in hours and hours of detail, and I think it'll help you out like a ton. Also, we teach you how to use our mail houses where you can actually get returned mail. They actually, unfortunately, got to pay like 20 bucks for it. It's kind of worth it. And remember, each address has a barcode on it from the USPS, and they'll scan it back to you and give you all return mail in an Excel spreadsheet, which is really powerful for what we do.
Okay.
So,
Yeah,
check out the Mailing Mastery. I guarantee it's going to answer 90% of your questions. And if you really want to get into mailing, you got a little bit of money, you want to do that, like, do it. I mean, it's a no-brainer, man. Like I told you, I get almost a 5 times return on whatever I invest in mail. But remember, I've got 20 years experience. So I don't want you starting out doing mail, but when you start to get successful, start incorporating mail, because if I can teach you to spend 3 or 4 grand and make 10 or 12 with it, you would do it all day long.
Oh yeah.
But you got to learn how to get over on making the investment, because that's what freaks out most people. And I go through that. So check out Mailing Mastery. It'll help you out a lot. Okay.
Yeah, this is my first experience with direct mail, because what I've been doing is I kind of moved away from, I was text blasting high equity lists, and you know how those are. It's just a ton of people hitting those with like VA sending out like 2,000 texts a day. I mean, I can't keep up with that.
I get it, man.
So I was cold calling them, and I noticed a lot of these people have numbers that are like disconnected or landlines that don't work. So and I know I'm only competing with 2 to 3 other people in the same market hitting probates. So
Uh-huh.
I know that my chance with direct mail, if I can't contact them, is way higher.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of what got me started on this. So it's my first experience.
Yeah.
But so how many of these should I be sending? Because this is, I told you I got about 40 mailers here, but this was about like 2 weeks, I'd say, worth of probates that I didn't contact before. So I mean, is there a number I should kind of go through daily and kind of prep, or maybe
Well,
cold call first, or
this is going to be a terrible quote, but speed kills in probate. So whoever
yeah,
kind of gets it first, because you got to understand, if somebody passed away and they want to get the house sold and like they don't want to deal with it, the first person that makes sense that they get a solicitor, they usually go with. That's just my experience in probate. That's how it works. You can do the cold calling too, and to be fully honest with you, we do we cold call and we mail.
yeah,
Some people hate you for cold calling, which I get, and that was kind of Zach's idea to the business. I'm like, I'm not doing that. I go, that seems a little like a little sharky. And then he's like, well, the realtors are doing it and other investors are and we can't help people out if they beat us to them. So once I heard that, I'm like, okay. So we do what we call like a warm call approach, and then we do the mail. The mail is just, it's not threatening. And it's very, like, if you use our template, it's very straightforward. And it's like, and I tell you to mix it up a little bit. How often the faster you mail it to them, the better, number one. Number two is you don't do a ton of mailing. I don't do more than 2 mailings to any one person in probate. It's just a waste of time, in my opinion. Like, if they don't get it within 60 days, they're probably not going to sell to you. It's just my experience. So it's not a lot of leads. The main thing with probates is you have to be patient. It's not an overnight, but every time I get a probate, it's 3 times the average return I get on my average assignment agreement in our company. So if I only do 6 or 8 probates in a year, that is like doing 30 deals. And that's why I do them. Why? Because I don't sit there and count how many deals I do. I look at the profit my company makes, and that's how I decide if we're hitting our goals or not. Guys, if you're just going to hang your hat on the number of deals you do, you're going to get disappointed, because if you're looking at a guy or gal that says, well, I do 15 deals a month, you ever notice they always say 10 or 15, but they don't share any of them? There's a reason for it. It's just a scripted way to say, I do 10 to 15. If you do 10 deals a month at $3,000 a piece, you're nothing more than a realtor, in my opinion. Like that's not real money. I wouldn't even do that. So, hey, I do 6 figures minimum every month. I've done as little as 1 or 2 deals in a month. So let me tell you, you just work smarter. You don't work harder. I love doing probate. Stick doing them, and just don't be discouraged, because they don't cost a lot. And once you figure it out, you get it in, and then just make sure you're patient. I teach you it's 5 to 6 touches before you can do a deal with somebody in probate. Do not beat them up on the price on the first phone call. You just got to get them comfortable with you. And then let them tell you your pain with the property, and then see if you can just help them out and be a human being. Okay? Authenticity and empathy you will hit it out of the park in wholesaling. Okay?
absolutely, yeah.
Okay, bud. I'll see you, man.
I appreciate it, man. See you. Have a good night.
Good Lord. So, guys, that's it for today. If you want to get the mind map for wholesaling, I will have it in freewholesaling.com. Let me put this up here so you guys understand where to get it. I had it up here earlier. Well, it's scrolling on the bottom. Go to freewholesaling.com. You can actually access this map, and I think it's really going to be a great tool. We go through it in depth, and here's the thing is, me and Zach don't hold back. So we put everything into it. I threw it out there for you guys. Check it out. Use it as a guide. And even when you get started in free wholesaling, you've never done a deal, and you're like, oh, who's this Zach and Rick guy? Rick seems a little out there. You're probably like my son, a lot better. But you can look at the mind map and figure out what you're getting before you can get into it. Remember, when you guys go out and buy courses, they won't show you anything till they pay you. And for that reason, dude, like, just be wary, okay? I want to test drive a car before I want to get into it. Come over and test the car in like freewholesaling.com. Don't worry. Every guru downloads our stuff and accesses it. Don't worry. I have all the IP addresses. I really appreciate it. We have a record amount of gurus downloading our stuff, and not downloading it, accessing it. And hey, I'm sharing the wealth. Maybe you guys need to do it in turn. Let's help people out. Let's help people be successful in wholesaling, because in the end, we all want the same thing. We want people to be financially free. We want you to be happy. We want peace and love in your life. And I believe wholesaling is the way to do it. It is work, guys. And don't let anyone tell you any different. So, guys, Zach will be back on Sunday night, 10 p.m. Eastern time. I'll be back on Monday. Go to my YouTube channel, Rick Ginn. Check out my sons too. We release exclusive content on there, and we kind of expand so you get to know us a little bit more personally. Guys, we really appreciate everything you're doing. Check us out on Facebook, Wholesaling Houses for Real, the most largest active wholesaling group out there. And I promise you, it's going to be the biggest. So guys, we appreciate your time. Check me out on YouTube, Rick Ginn, and I will see you guys shortly. Go out and get some deals. Remember, guys, it's quantity and it's about being authentic and being empathetic. Have a